So we're here with Mark Brooks, penciler of many things right now, currently the Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Right.
How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Quick question, first off, what are you working on now that's, just a quick roll call of books that may be out or upcoming?
I'm working on Ultimate Fantastic Four right now. The first issue, issue 39, just came out. I've got issue 40 coming out next month, and then 41. We've got a 3-issue run. The X-Men Annual just came out, what, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I guess. And I don't know what I'm doing after that. I may be working on back in the X-Men office. Hopefully I'll be back in there for the big crossover event they have coming up towards the end of the summer.
So when you were first getting into the industry, where were you drawing inspiration from? Because your work clearly looks manga influenced, anime influenced.
You know, I hear that a lot, and while I do like anime, I draw most of my influence from other comic artists that I really admire, like Michael Gold, who's actually sitting right down here. And I really was into Disney, and I think the common misconception is that anytime someone sees a cartoony artwork, they automatically assume it's manga, because manga is so prevalent in our industry right now. But people like Chris Pachalo or Mike Ringo, I hear the word manga thrown around for them all the time, and there's nothing manga.
Ringo is definitely more of a Disney, if anything, like a Disney, if not Looney Tunes influence.
Exactly, and I kind of think I'm more along the same lines, honestly.
So you obviously don't take it as a slight when somebody makes that.
Oh no, it's not a slight. I think that I think it's a term that's thrown around maybe a little too easily. Just kind of a generic term. It's like calling any soft drink a Coke. It's like, well, it's not really the case actually. So that's just my 2 cents. But I've got no problem with when someone says, "Oh, manga influenced." I mean, I read it enough. If I had a problem every time someone said that, Jesus, I don't have a problem with a lot of people.
The camera would be broken.
Right.
Yeah. This interview was open.
Yeah, really.
So, what was your first experience? How was your first experience with the mainstream books? And what have you learned from that?
I've learned that it's a lot more to do with storytelling than just pretty art, and I know that's relative as well. Some people think I'm horrible, but I've learned that comics are a lot more than art. I mean, I see a lot of people, a lot of up-and-comers that want to get into comics in the same position I was in, and I see them focusing very heavily on the way they draw and doing covers and pinups and things like that, and I don't see a lot of focus on storytelling, which is something I've really tried to focus on over the last few years. And I think if anybody can learn from my experience is focus on that just as much as you're focusing on your art.
When you were being approached or starting in an industry, why Marvel over DC? Was it just a character selection?
I grew up reading Marvel. I mean, I didn't have a comic shop in my neighborhood when I grew up. I had the corner drugstore, and they carried mostly Marvel books. X-Men was the first book I ever read, and I've just always been drawn to those characters. I've read DC books over the years, but I don't know, there's some of the Marvel characters that I always just wanted to do, and luckily I gravitated towards Marvel, and I guess luckily they liked my stuff enough to hire me.
Last thing, your dream book. Who is the creator that you're working with?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the characters you're working with?
Oh wow, gosh. This is gonna sound kind of cheesy. I'm kind of living it now. I mean, I always wanted to work on X-Men. My dream characters were always X-Men, and luckily the same characters are around now. I mean, you still have Rogue, you still have Nightcrawler, you still have Colossus. Those guys are still around. I'm not saying I get to draw them all the time, but I'm getting to live my dream. Writer-wise, I've always wanted to work with Mark Miller. I've never gotten a chance. I've worked with Bendis, which I really enjoyed, Mike Carey, but Mark Miller, I love his scripting, I love his storytelling, and I would love to have a shot at some of his work.
Something he's done?
Yeah, anything really.
Any advice for the kids before we leave?
No.
Stay in school, don't do drugs.
Thanks, President Bush.
All right, thanks, man. Really enjoyed Mike Carey.